We're still in the Why You Struggle to Rest series, and this is the third part of a 5-part video series. Thank you for watching and staying engaged here. If you have any questions, drop them below. The third reason why many of us struggle to rest is because as long as your body is on and active, you can avoid experiencing emotion. How does that work? There's 2 ways that works. One is I can keep going, I can stay active, which engages the sympathetic nervous system. And a lot of that goes with a narrowing of the visual field and more convergence. Convergence is when the eyes come together, like when you look at your phone, the eyes need to come together in order to be able to read. However, what that also does is it engages the sympathetic nervous system. It engages our focus. The same as an inhale engages our focus and speeds up the heart. Now, with that physiology, we are attending to the world of tasks and not the world of connections, the world of relationships, and the world of emotions. We can attend to that when we pause, the activity is over, and then the system can begin to naturally deactivate, which comes with a widening of our visual field. So more of the peripheral vision, the more diffuse vision turns on, and that activates a network in the brain that helps with processing emotions. At the same time, as long as you're not go, 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 you can begin to notice what is left over in your system from the go, go, go. You might have noticed this as you maybe helped a friend get to the emergency room and you were really on and not so emotional and very task-oriented, but then you come home and then tears come. And now you can feel how scared you were for your friend. You can't feel how scared you are for your friend while the emergency is happening because that wouldn't be helpful. And so many of us maintain this cycle of go, 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 narrowing the visual field, getting very focused, very pointed. Those of you who've danced 5 rhythms with us in our small Peace with Food school, you know this as the kind of staccato, very focused, very organized, very forward momentum. It's very, very different when you pause this and you start to rest, and then all the emotions start to come up. And emotions come up as sensations. Emotions aren't coming up as thoughts. They're coming up as a bodily, as a somatic experience of, oh, this actually doesn't feel so good. For many of us, it feels fantastic to be on task, to have a goal in place, and to be going with this narrow visual field, knowing what's in front of me. When we get tired, we can use caffeine, we can use chocolate, we can use food to stimulate us. If you are somebody who has more of a habit of restriction, which definitely is in my history of disordered eating, you can use restriction as a way to stay alert, because your body is going to make the appropriate hormones and appropriate neurotransmitters when you're starving to keep you alert. So you can see how we can easily get into this cycle. There's another piece here that is really interesting to me, especially around emotions that require other people to be there as witness. This might have happened to you. You are holding and containing some sadness and grief, and then a good friend puts a hand on your shoulder, and here comes the tears. And the tears come when the good friend comes and puts a hand on your shoulder, because this is how we are created as human beings, is that some of our emotions are only possible to discharge and be released, and not released as we're trying to get rid of them, but they just make their movement through the system when there's adequate support. And so one of the things that happens when we're in this go, go, go sympathetic mode is that when we're moving through the world in this way, this actually keeps us away from relationship and focused on a task. I can either be task-oriented or relationship-oriented. And some emotions like grief that require company never get touched. So if grief is a difficult emotion for me to experience, or if I'm living alone and it's just not possible, that I'm going to stay very focused. And what do we do when we're tired at the end of the day? Is we might end up, doom scrolling, or we might end up watching some senseless television because we haven't deactivated enough to go to bed, but we also can't land with someone or something that allows us to deactivate. If it's an emotion like grief requires somebody to be there to hold you as grief expands you and breaks your cells open from the pain so that you can become the next somatic form that's more appropriate for your life. And so you can see how this go, go, go is something we get stuck in. People will say, oh, I'm just an A-type, it's just my personality. That's not what I find in my work. I find that for most of us, the inability to rest and staying active to suppress emotion was a very, very important survival strategy when we were little people. We're currently in week 6 of the Sacred Rest Masterclass, which will run again in November of 2025, if you've missed your chance to be in this one. And I want to assure you that in order for you to be able to rest, you can build the biological skill that takes. And that takes some learning and some experience. And I'm here for you to join us whenever you feel ready. I will see you in part 4 of this series, and then in 5 as well in the next couple of weeks. Thank you for watching, and comment below if this touches you or helps you in some way.